So before I start, the purpose for this is whether you have a slow flip right now, whether you're thinking about getting a slow flip, you haven't started yet, and you're going through the course, and you have a lot of questions about filling, this is the call for it because we're going to talk about fundamentals, basic stuff, and if you have some more questions, we can go into those as well. So when I bring on Brandon, I'm just going to ask him just general questions to get him going, and then we'll just open up to questions, question and answer. And I think it'll be really helpful because I mean everybody needs filling their properties, right? Okay. So having said that, Brandon, welcome. Unmute yourself if you're muted, please.
Yes. Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Good, good. And who's with you? I'm sorry.
This is my better half. This is Adelise.
Hello, nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Annalise.
Yeah,
How
my
are you?
fiance.
All right. So my first question is, I met you when I was at the Freedom Accelerator Summit last year, and I had just joined, so I didn't know anyone, but I was just lucky to, meet with you, and you were really nice and considerate to talk to me and all that. So just kind of give us a little background on what you do, how long you've been in the system, do you have your own slow flips? And if I'm wrong, correct me. You're with Joy's team, so just go ahead and just give us an overview of that, and then don't we're going to talk about the filling process in a moment. We just want a background on you first.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with Joy's team. Been under Joy, working with Joy for a while, probably about 2 or 3 years now. Me personally, and then after the summit, after I met you this year, I brought Adelisa on full time. She school teacher. She was actually what 1 semester away from her doctorate, and then she just walked away from it all, and it's we just dove into real estate full time. And then I mainly that's why I say when you wanted me to talk today, especially about St. Louis, and I was like, hey, it's a little bit difficult, but I can talk about filling. So what we do here now is we kind of broke up the business. I focus on filling houses in Virginia, and she focused on filling houses in St. Louis and Illinois. So it's just like we just work off teamwork and filling. It's a process. Like you said, if you never filled your house, it can be a process. I mean, the filling process is pretty easy. It's just afterwards, just dealing with the tenants. Because sometimes, before we get out of bed, before we get to moving around to the office, we probably get about 20, 30 missed calls just from tenants, just because little stuff. It's just you'll be surprised of what they call for. And it's just they just need to be talked to. We're just here to put out fires. So it's just sometimes we're like, hey, you just got to do this. You just got to talk them through the process a little bit. 9 times out of 10, but it's just sometimes a lot of people just don't want to deal with that because it does become a headache, especially we're dealing with both markets of Virginia and St. Louis. Currently, we have 15 properties. We're supposed to close on one this week, so hopefully that's closing. Yeah, the title companies out there, if anybody work with them, sometimes every title company is different. Even if you work with the same title company, every process is different. When you buy a house today, it's going to be different from buying a house next week. So it's just dealing with that process. That's why I just like sometimes we just like to give people a peace of mind because we've been trying to close this house for a while, and then so the filling side, we want to start filling it, but we want it to be closed too as well. So it's just we would like to give people just a peace of mind, like, hey, we take care of every single thing. We will do everything. We only get paid once, but where's your clients? We'll keep working with the same people, however long it takes for us to work. We'll fill the house again. Whatever you need done, we'll do it because we enjoy doing that process.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's walk everybody through. Like I said, regardless of people who've done this before or they may know the process, I would like you to break down the process for us. Okay, so from somebody who bought a property, and you can take St. Louis, Missouri, or you want to take any market. Just give an example. You bought a property. What should be next? What happens next? And give us the backdoor story of what you're doing, because even though we've all gone through the course, we know what we need to do. And actually try to do some of the marketing myself just so I could understand it. So I have a little bit idea, but give us the view of, for example, you're placing ads on what kind of forums you're placing ads on. How are you responding to these people so we can understand what goes into all of this,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
to get results, there's a lot of things that are going in the background. We just get this text email by you saying, "Hey, I got an offer on your deal," and we're like, "Cool." But let everybody know so everybody understands, because sometimes, and then I have so many questions. So let's just start with that. So start with a basic process. Somebody got a home, let's say 2 bedroom, 1 bath in a market in St. Louis. Let's assume where most of the people are buying. What are the first couple of things you'll do? Walk us through the process, and then we'll talk about specifics.
Okay. So during that process, usually when someone buys a house, if it's a client we're working with, usually they'll send us the address. And if they had got a wholesaler out there or if they got Ken out there, hopefully we got good pictures and everything. So if they send us the pictures and the address, usually we can get pricing from there because we know a lot of the neighborhoods out there we've been filling for so long. So it's like, hey, what's the neighborhood, what's the street? And then 9 times out of 10 we know the street, so we kind of can figure out the neighborhood. And then once we see the condition of the home, we're like, hey, that's in the $2,500 range, 795, 59,000. How's that number sound with you? And then you'll confirm, and then that's when we'll start marketing. And then from there, from our marketing side, like I say, me and Alice, we do this full time, but we have about 6 people, all in our family members, who help us because marketing, it can be a pain sometimes. I mean, we tried everything. We done did it. We did Facebook's number one, obviously, but Craigslist,
We use WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, yeah, WhatsApp, that's a number one, another number one, but you got to ramp that up. You have to get a following up there, but that becomes a key to the game. That's a game changer for us. The WhatsApp, because a lot of our Spanish clientele, they love WhatsApp. So it's just like that's just number one way for them. And a lot of people know, well, a lot of people don't know what if you have a house and you want to fill it and you want the right person, you want the right tenant, if they're Spanish, they're probably going to be a good tenant because 9 times out of 10 they just live totally different from what we're used to. I mean, they see a house over here that has a hole in the wall, that has needs a little bit of wear and tear, and they come in and they fix it up to the T. And then Adelise and a few of her family members as well, they are bilingual, so we do have that on our team. So we do try to ramp up that market as well. Not trying to ramble, but in Virginia,
That's big.
yeah, it's our number one market. I mean, it's major. Like we got a house today, and it's probably gonna sell tonight. They just boom, boom, boom. We're trying to get there to St. Louis and Illinois to where we're selling that fast, but it's still a process. We're still learning as well, but we've been doing it for quite some time.
Cool. And would you like to add something, at least if you want to add something?
Now I was gonna say we have a lot of investor buyers.
Yes, yep.
And that's well, if you see a house go quickly, it's usually an investor buyer. And some people try to shy away. Even for our personal slow flips, I prefer an investor buyer. 9 times out of 10, they are going to pay on time, or if not, they're going to voluntarily terminate. And then
We
you
like to call them donors. I mean, because most of the time those investors, they're California investors when they send their ID, and so they're not even in state. And then they might, we got an investor for our house, and I don't know what she fixed it up. She made it really super nice, and then she just terminated, walked away.
yeah.
And then she never even seen the property. She had good contractors who came in and fixed it up.
Hey, Amir's training is on. Has she left?
Sorry, and hold on the questions for a moment. You can raise your hand, but keep yourself muted, and just raise your hand, and we'll go to the questions. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yep. So it's just like you get the houses back better sometimes. You never know. But as far as yeah, like she said, the investor we get a lot of investors, and then like she said, we try not to shy away from those because they worst case scenario they will terminate, and most of the time you'll get the house back in better condition.
So I have a question on that. So I had, I think, at least 2 of my properties with investors. So tell me about, are all investors doing Section 8, or what else are these investors doing?
I think so. I think most of them are doing Section 8. I know that the investor that we had for that particular home, I think she was trying to Airbnb it for or make it a rental for nurses, travel nurses, because she did order like a TV and like had all these things in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them, I would say about a good 90% of them are trying to get it ready for Section 8.
So So if you're saying you're trying to get them ready for Section 8, obviously they're going to do all the work, nothing to do with you. I know in some cities there are some documentation that you as the owner have to provide them so they can actually get that done. Can you talk a little bit about that? If you don't know much about it, that's okay, but at least so that people know, because some people who don't have experience with that, they might just say, well, I don't know what it is, or I might just get scared. So tell people, how is that beneficial for us?
So I will say that we personally have an experience having to give paperwork for our Section 8 buyers, because we are not in those small. I know there's a couple of people buying those smaller areas, so we're not there, so we don't run into that.
Yeah, we haven't run into that issue yet, but we did hear Scott talking about it. But as far as filling anything, we haven't run into that issue as of yet.
So one more question. I mean, this is about, again, Section 8, and this is my personal experience, is that there are a lot of investors out there who are new investors.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to do, like Scott says, there's somebody selling a program, right? About Section 8. They just bought the program. They're really excited. They've got their LLC set up and everything. They paid on time and everything. But then I realized very quickly they don't know what they're doing. And after 2 months, I mean, they made their payment, but after 2 months, we repeat the process. So I'm just thinking, I mean, is it, yes, I mean, we got it filled, but at the end, it didn't work out, right? Now, obviously, there's no way around it. Is there a way to maybe figure out, maybe by asking them questions that, hey, have you done this before? What is your plan? Do you guys maybe help with that? If somebody, like, if I had a property and you told me that you had somebody, he's a Section 8 investor, and if I ask you, hey, can we just find out because I don't want to repeat the process again, is the way?
Yeah, we kind of do like a light screen. We kind of do that as well, especially if we're selling through Facebook, because Facebook allows us to go back and look through their profile. So we kind of see if they have their background. And we do ask them sometimes, like, hey, do you have any other rentals? Have you done this before? And, most of the time they say yes, and then they still fall down. And then what we do get a lot of repeat buyers, and same with the repeat buyers. Like, might default, like a repeat buyer bought four, and he three are going well, and he gave one back. And so it's just luck of the draw. I don't know if he ran out of money. I'm not sure his issue. He didn't disclose, but sometimes we do run into those issues more nine times, not 9 times out of 10, but 1 out of 10. And then from there, that's why I say it's part of the game. We just like to call those donors because they do pay on time. So we just repeat the process, and then we just keep going from there.
Cool. All right, guys. If anybody has a question, please press the button so we can see your hand raised. And so I'll call on you once we're ready to take questions. So my question is, I'm sure everybody's curious about this question, so maybe you can answer it because I haven't figured this out. Their properties, they look perfectly fine. And so if you put two properties in one city, they look very identical. I mean, they look identical to me, and one would fill right away and the other might take months. So just tell us what's going on in the background. I know maybe something else is going on, but just tell me in your experience, what is sometimes the cause for a property to not fill quickly?
Are we mainly talking St. Louis, Illinois, or just in? Yeah. I'll say that market is just different because because every street is different. I mean, the streets are long, they're super duper long. And St. Louis, I mean, they have a reputation for a reason. So that's why I say that's why you kind of got to do your research on when you buy a house, because this street might be a good street, but the street right behind it might not be the best street. And then, especially in the summertime in the warmer months, we got to see a lot of that because a lot more people were hanging outside. So that'll defer a lot more people.
So a follow-up question on that. When you said, well, this street might be good, but the street behind may be bad. So how do we figure that out?
You just kind of got to do your research. I mean, I learned that personally from going out there. I've been out there about 4 times because I didn't believe it, and it's just totally different. I'm from Virginia, and it's way totally different from Virginia. It's a total different ball game because, like you said, you might see this house online. It's a perfect, totally good house, but then once you go out there, you'll see on the corner, it's four guys hanging out on the corner. They're like, all right, now I understand how come my house isn't filling. These guys, they've been here for 4 days. The guys aren't leaving. And so you just kind of, it's hard if you don't know, but after a while, if you start buying houses, after you just, and then you can kind of look on what other people, where they've been buying, and then where houses have been filling, and kind of focus on those areas.
So give me, let's just talk about this specific topic because, I mean, honestly, I've been in the program a year. I haven't figured this out because if you're from the area, it's really easy. So I have somebody who fills for me in Toledo. He knows the streets. So since he fills for me and he's there physically, when I give him an address, he tells me right away. He said, I'll go there, but I can tell you this about it. So for me, that. But in most of the markets where I am in Illinois, I don't have anybody like that. Do you have a suggestion for somebody who's looking at a home? How would you do that?
It's kind of hard to say because a year ago, all the houses that we're buying now, they were saying don't buy in those areas. So, and then we bought out all those areas and they fill perfectly. So if you're from that area, you're probably going to say don't buy in all the areas that we're buying, but then we're doing perfectly fine in the area. That's why I say you just kind of, it's hard because a lot of us aren't there. So it's just like we can't see what's going on in the neighborhood as much. So it's like that's a little bit harder to kind of see what's going on because that's what our tenants are seeing. Once they go out there, it's just like online on Zillow, the house looks perfect and it's a perfect house, but we just don't know as far as what are the other neighbors doing.
I would say too, though, like maybe having a good realtor.
Yes.
That is like pays volumes to have a great realtor. And if they know what you're doing, I know some people try to shy away from telling them what they're doing, but like if they know what you're doing and they know your criteria and what you're looking for, and they're from that area, they can kind of tell you this would be a great slow flip, or this area might not be so great.
Great advice there. Okay, cool. So we'll start with the questions. So go ahead and raise your hand by pressing a button so that I can see that your hand is raised. So we're going to start with Amy. Go ahead, please unmute yourself.
I do have a question. Do you guys handle Decatur, Illinois at all?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm about to possibly, very nervous, purchase my first slow flip in Decatur, and I'm in Chicago myself, so that's one of the reasons why I chose that area is because I actually purchased a LLC in Illinois a few months ago. We were kind of unaware of what I was going to use it for, but aware that I was going to use it for something. And it also seems to be a really happening area for slow flips. The reason why this property intrigued me, and you might have seen it on the accelerator group, is because it is, and it's also a very unique slow flip situation. It is it's a house that's been split into 3 different units, and there's currently 2 occupants in 2 of the units, which is one of the things that made me be like, okay, like, I can, if I have to, I can kind of maybe take my time figuring this out, and I'll still have some money coming back because I'm buying it with my own money from these tenants. Of course, I don't want to be a landlord. But so 2 questions. 1, could I run the street by you? And then 2, obviously this isn't going to probably intrigue your normal slow flip client base, probably more of an investor or someone who is looking to jump into, being a landlord, or already is a landlord. So, just kind of curious about like what, I guess maybe the marketing for that how that might look different considering that it is a 3 unit. And I will look up the street it's on while you guys maybe answer that.
Would you consider giving the tenants, putting them in a 30-year mortgage?
Yeah, so obviously that was the first, feedback I got was we'll see if the tenants would like to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I would consider that. I mean, yeah, I would definitely offer to the tenants first, but I guess in the scenario where, either one of them doesn't want to or can't do it, and they're on a month-to-month lease, so it's not a big deal to give them a 30-day notice.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, is that my best
I mean, if that was me
option?
personally, I learned everything from Scott, so I'll try to do everything Scott would do. So in that situation, I wouldn't want to be a landlord. I never want to be a landlord.
No,
So yeah, I would try
same.
to give them the first option to buy, and from there, especially if they buy, that's a home run. Especially if the rent's already kind of even with the mortgage that you want it to be. And then worst
That's
case
the thing.
scenario,
It's not. There's a third unit that's not filled, but the unit's not filled. If they fill that unit, yes, they're going to cover the rent with also their payment every month. But let me give you the address. It's 1668 North Monroe.
yeah. Oh yeah. And then if we can get your information, I can contact you off of outside of this, and then
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I might just have you guys, I'm sure that you charge a fee to fill or whatever, and since I will be primary focused in this area moving forward, hopefully we can work together and maybe eventually get mentored where I can, be able to fill them myself. But since I am so new, I am looking for all the assistance that I can get.
I will say, from experience, in Decatur, as an owner, whenever you get it filled, you have to, it was very odd. You have to like call for the water and essentially kind of put it in your LLC for a second, for like a hot second until the tenant takes it over. But it's like you giving them permission, but you first have to put it under your LLC. So that was something unique that we dealt with when we bought in Decatur, but only Decatur.
Okay, thank you.
Heads up. You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Amy. Tom, go ahead.
Sorry if I missed this while I was getting my audio fixed, but do you guys scrutinize your buyers if, for example, like we want maybe more requirements from them when they're buying, like if they got a job, they got money in the bank, things like that, or talk to the previous landlords?
yeah, we don't, because most of the time when we did, they'll lie. I mean, they'll provide fake documents, and once you get it back, you'll be surprised once you start to get looking through it. You're like, these documents are fake. These are falsified, and then from there, probably already too late. They already signed and everything. So we just kind of treat everybody like an adult. If they pay their down payment, um, we go through the process, and if they fall down, we just evict them, go through the process as well. But yeah, we screened before, and you will just be so surprised what people do just to pass. Because think about it, if they're buying from us, it's no credit check. They're already at the last lump. They can't rent from anybody else. They can't buy from anybody else. They're already in a situation. So these people, they know how to get around the system.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid people like
Yeah.
that, and how we could scrutinize and
Yeah.
without exactly qualifying them.
It's the same as rentals. It's kind of a hard. That's why I said, like, for us, we fill through Facebook, so we can kind of see their profile. We kind of get an idea of how they're living, and then their lifestyle from that. But from there, it's kind of hard to screen these people for what we do, because we get the volume of it. It's crazy, and then we can't discriminate. It's the laws keep us there from discriminating, so it's just like,
Fair housing laws.
yeah. So we just try to keep it fair with everyone. So we're just not in that gray area. But like I said, we did it before. We seen bank account statements. We never contacted anybody, previous owners or anything. We never went that far. But as far as bank statements and everything, as far as jobs, just to make sure I had a job, secured a job, all that to check the boxes. And most of the time, these people, they're in situations so they know that this is already their last chance already. So after this is probably the streets. So most of the people, they do take care.
Cool. All right. Next up, Patrick, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, thank you so much. I'm pretty new. I registered last 2 weeks ago, but I worked a lot, so don't have a lot of time. Brandon, you said some things that I would have loved to get clarifications. You said tenants calling you. That was one. I don't know if it's SlowFlip tenants or you're talking about your previous tenants. That's number one. You said two, WhatsApp selling. I don't know. I know Facebook, Craigslist marketing, but I'm trying to figure out how Facebook WhatsApp marketing works. Three, someone posted a message on on the chart as a first time newbie, what is your favorite market? Is it St. Louis, Birmingham, Chicago, or whichever market that you think would work for beginners like us? I have a little bit of experience in the Midwest, especially Ohio, Cincinnati. Like you said, um, some street, if you go there, you see houses that are like 150, 200K. The next door is like 30K, it's like a dome. So if you're investing remotely, you may not be able to figure out these things unless you're there. So how do you determine this? And finally, the markets that we or slow flippers invest are like pretty much high crime market, Birmingham, St. Louis, and they are losing population. How do you deal with turnovers if tenant leave? The houses, do they appreciate? Because when I look at these houses, they sold them 10 years ago and it's like they are losing value. How do you deal with all these things? So
Okay. Yeah, mainly I'll start with your first question, I believe is, I was talking about tenants that we help clients with mainly call us. They're because we filled a lot of houses. This year alone we're probably over 200 filling houses. So just previous clients for those just calling just to questions, small questions. They just any questions they call. They call. They never text. It's always calls, and it's never one call if you don't. It's always 10 calls if you don't answer. Always. So it's just dealing with that. It's sometimes it can become a headache, but I mean we enjoy what we do. I believe your second question for us, we only focus on we're in Virginia for that's where we live, so that's our market, and then we only focus on St. Louis and Illinois. That's just our market. That's just the only ones we can focus on. We would like to step out to other markets. So if you guys like to ramp up, start to buy some more houses in other markets, we will be more than welcome to fill them for you guys. But just for us right now, that's just where we buy, just those three markets.
awesome. Just one last question. Do you visit a city before you start investing to be able to know how the dynamics of the city, how it looks like and all that before you start investing, to know the areas to invest in? Or
No. Before I bought in St. Louis, I didn't visit. I bought out there first, and then when I went out there, it was a shocker for me because St. Louis looks a lot different from Virginia. So I was just like, wow, I bought this house, and so just a lot shocker. But all of them performed, all of them doing well. So yep, I was just out there, and then the team I had the team behind us. So a lot of the team already bought out there. Some of Joy. Um, I had known Joey since high school. He's been out there for a few times, so I was able to talk to him about that. So it's just like I was already comfortable with the market before I went out there. And to be honest with you, it's been doing so good for us. We got boots on the ground. We got everything we need out there. So I don't think there's really no need for us to even go back out there.
And
Yes, I just posted the question that I had. I was wondering if Brandon, really, I haven't selected a market yet. So I was wondering if you have like a favorite market or one that you feel like there's less turnover, less evictions, or in your experience, are they all just comparable?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite market. I mean, I do personally like to buy in Virginia, but the houses in Virginia, I mean, the starting price in Virginia is probably 80 to 100. So it's just like I can't buy out there. And the only reason I like to buy, only reason I would say Virginia for me is because I'm here. So it's easier for me to do evictions. It's easy because I can do them personally. Versus I don't mind in St. Louis. I have to pay someone, but I can't do it. So it's not as fun for me. I enjoy doing evictions. I go to my evictions. I like to. So it's just so if you have to say favorite, I would say that because of that. But I mean, for me, I want to buy more in St. Louis. I want, if I can buy in the next 6 months 100 houses in St. Louis, I'm going to buy 100 houses in St. Louis. So it's just like for me, I love that market. I mean, that market, it's a little bit easier for me as well because the turnover, 30 days, I can have you out. 60 days, I can have the share. I can have everything refilled probably in 90 days tops. So I just know the turnover for me I know it's a lot easier because I just know for me, I'm always trying to count my money. But hey, all right, if it's sitting vacant, everybody knows if it's sitting vacant, it's counting me money. So I'm like, hey, what's the least amount of time it's going to cost me money? So that I like those two markets personally, but we've been buying in Illinois because there's so many deals out there. I mean, they're so intriguing. I see deals every single day. So, and those are just those three markets I buy in. I don't know anything about Ohio, so I can't say anything about Ohio because I haven't looked into that market. I don't want to look into that market right now because I might see too many deals I want to buy that I might start. I don't want to focus on two markets. I don't want to keep. I just want to focus on one main market. I have heard. I'll focus on St. Louis and Illinois, and I focus on Virginia, just mainly so we can focus.
Great. All right, so we just have about 5 minutes left, and next question is from Holly. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was wondering, I see houses in all kinds of price ranges that fill, from 5K to 18K to 30K to 50K. Are there, I do worry about some of the ones that are a little bit lower because I'm really tempted to buy them. Are there any characteristics where houses really don't move?
It's just a longer process most of the time. I mean, typically, because we had some houses, sometimes I was like, hey, that house is a little bit rough, and it moves. But
Yeah, it's
sometimes
really impressive. Yeah.
it's just I'll tell people if you can be patient, if you do buy a cheaper house, just be a little more patient on the flip side because we have so many houses in the group. So at one particular time, they can look at 40 houses. So yours might get bumped down the group because they have a lot more other houses to look at.
Right.
But there's enough houses for everybody, so don't let that deter you because what that's what they need a house. I mean, people they need three things to survive: food, water, shelter. So we're in one of their needs. So someone's gonna need it, someone's gonna want it. Just have to be patient, and then most of the time it's gonna fill.
Awesome. Okay. That's very encouraging. Some of the ones that like really don't have much in them, is it mostly investors buying those, or do you see people who do buy them?
I would say it depends on the investor. Normally, it is someone who's going to fix it up and live in it. A lot of the investors try to look for something that is as close to Section 8 or occupancy permit ready as possible.
That's big for them.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, great. So we are almost out of time. So last question from Don. So please make it short for me, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. What is the most important thing to put in your Facebook ads, whether it be a ghost ad or a filling ad? And would that go in home sales or rental? What do you have the best luck in?
We put it under home sales. So I would say Brandon's ads and my ads are different. I keep it very bare bones minimum in terms of details, house available, no credit check, and then I put the down payment, the monthly, and then I ensure that it says sales price, not total price or something like that, because then you get the questions about like, wait, it's a 30-year mortgage, but if I'm paying this much in 30 years, I'm going to end up paying this much. And so I emphasize that it's sales price, not, what you'll end up paying.
Okay.
And Facebook is tricky. I mean, and once you start to post on Facebook, anybody can flag you. If you don't answer in a timely fashion, I can flag you, and then Facebook will take your Facebook. So I mean, Facebook, we live and die by it. I mean, I love it, but once it's down, I mean, it starts to hurt because you can't fill houses, so you have to start to find other avenues. That's why we started looking to WhatsApp. And then I'm not too familiar with WhatsApp. I know Annalise and Aisha on our team, they use it. Aisha, she crushes it on WhatsApp.
I'm still a newbie on WhatsApp, but basically once you have a following, then you can invite them to your WhatsApp channel. And what she does is she simply, like when we get new houses, she just posts them up there, and everyone who is a part of her channel can see it, and they can click on the link and they can see the photos, and then they can contact her individually, but it's only a one-time send. She posts it up there and they all see it. So it's easy for her on that aspect.
So does she link her link to WhatsApp on Facebook? Are you allowed to do that?
She just put it like a little ad on Facebook that said, if you'd like to, have a list of homes, follow my WhatsApp channel.
You
Yeah.
have to kind of build a following for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they can get invited to your WhatsApp group, and then from there, just post it one time, and everybody can see it. They can't comment, but they can see it.
Yeah, they can't comment, but they can all see it. And then so she posted on her page, not necessarily on Marketplace.
So just in case your Facebook is down, you have a second avenue.
And who is that? I mean, can a guy go look at what is going on with that WhatsApp? The person you're talking about?
Yeah, she's on our team.
Yeah,
I said we have to contact her.
she's on
Yeah.
vacation.
Oh yeah, she's on vacation. It's her birthday.
I think I've talked to one of your team members that sells a lot of houses. She's like a niece of one of them, I think.
I know Winona sells a lot for us.
I think her name starts with a T. Talia or no, I don't remember. I'd have to look her up.
But this is, I can kind of show.
I don't know if you can see this. You can try to.
So this is her WhatsApp channel, and she just has like the details posted.
Oh yeah. And then they have to call her instead
She
of.
has 148 followers on her WhatsApp channel.
Nice.
So she just posts up there.
All right, guys, we have about a minute, so I don't want the call to end because it's just gonna cut off. I just wanted to thank Brandon Sharp team. Thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us. Just as final word, can you tell us what is the process? How much do you charge, and what information you need?
Well, we just charge 50% of the down payment, so nothing actually comes out of pocket from you. We get it from the tenant, and we just need the address. If you have clear pictures, and the number that you want, but if you send us pictures and the address, we can send the numbers that we can recommend, and then from there, we just kind of get on the same page, and we'll just blast it out from there.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. We run out of time. See you all.